That means we got to get going at
Go.
10:20. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pop and Go. This is going to be a fun, sorry, the chat is getting me distracted. This is going to be a fun session. Hopefully, it's also going to be pretty interactive and it's going to be fast. Fair warning though, usually I do this session with 3 hours. And so we're going to have to think faster than the 3 hours that we have. So I hope you guys are ready and you are on top of it because it is interactive. But again, typically it's 3 hours. So if you need extended time, you can watch the recording because it's going to be recorded. And you can also work on your impactful strategy that you want to share outside of the session, and then you have to submit it. Okay, so again, we are going to go ahead and talk a little bit more. So let's talk about me, right? So I love tacos, and I am Stephanie Howe. If you don't know me already, I have a lot of friends in here, so I feel like I don't know if I need to go over this slide. But this is just a little bit about me. I have a son named AJ. I have one on the way. I think we're like down to 20 some days before he'll be here. And if you have any questions, I have friends. Yes, I do have friends. And so on Twitter, you can also follow me. And if you have questions or need anything after this session, please follow up there. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Twitter into the chat. I have my direct messages turned on, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. We are not talking about tea, but I do love tea. And also, I am Team Grid View. So in the chat, let me know what team you are, because I feel like that has to be in the session somewhere. So we're just going to throw it in right here. I probably should add that to my About Me slides. All right. So with that, I want you to think about a strategy. Okay, so in your classroom, if you're an educator, if you're an IT person, think of some type of strategy that is really impactful that you have used to communicate with adults, to communicate with students, that you use in your classroom. Maybe it's classroom management. There's so many different strategies that teachers do. And a lot of times when I am working with teachers, they think, but my strategy is not that good, right? Like there's this mindset where we sometimes feel like what we have to share isn't good enough. And what's really funny is when I did this presentation with my teachers, I heard a lot of those comments. I have nothing to share. And so you do have a voice, you do have something to share. And because of that, we are going to do this pop and go. And so I challenged my teachers to think of one strategy that they do. And it was funny because they struggled. And I was like, I'm in your classrooms because I'm an instructional coach. And this is like 3 things that you do really well. And then they had to share that one strategy. So again, we had to get over that imposter syndrome. And so if you have not yet, again, get over that imposter syndrome, share it, even if you think the world already knows that strategy, is what I want you to get in that mindset for. So how this next 15, I guess, minutes is going to work is we are going over expectations right now. We are going to design, and then we're going to share, and we're going to reflect. So our expectations is like the process. The design is you might already have it created. If you don't have your idea created or something that you do amazingly in your classroom, you're going to design something for your classroom. And then you're going to share that strategy with others on this call. And then you're going to do that reflection. So here's kind of our time, 5, 5, 7. We'll see if we can do it. I have faith in us that we can. And so for mine, I actually just changed mine. We're not doing sound predictions because I found something way cooler. So for mine, instead of sound predictions, we're going to talk about the unfair game, because there's a couple people on this call that really just play that game a lot, right? Especially Abid Patel. So the unfair game is a great way to engage different people. I use it with students. However, I do know there's different people on here. You could also use this during a professional learning if you're an instructional coach. And what students do is they have this slide, and I ask them a question. Actually, the students don't have this slide. I lied to you. I ask my students a question, and then they pick a number. So the students will pick a number behind this box. So someone in the chat, first person, pick a number and put it in the chat. First person. Let's see who the winner is. 7. Okay. Of course, Abid's the first person. Why wouldn't he be? So again, Abid picked number 7. Abid, are you going to give what's behind number 7 to somebody in this call, or do you want to keep it? So Abid's going to let us know who he wants to give it to, if he wants to give it, or if he wants to keep it. So Abid, let us know your thoughts on that number 7 box, if you're going to keep or give. All right, he's going to give it. So Abid, your question is, what is the better view, list view or grid view? Abid would answer that question. If he gets it correctly, because there is only one answer, he will then get to be able, yes, Greta got it right for Abid. So I'm going to go ahead and pick number 7 for Abid. And he gave it. So Abid gave negative points to his friend. And so we've got negative 20 now. And so when we have our scoreboard, we then have Abid at 0 and Gennaro at negative 20. So again, you can kind of see that scoreboard, and then you just keep on playing. And then you'll click the home. It takes you back home. Next question. And then I would go, Darren, what number do you want to pick? Darren picks a number. Do you want to give it to somebody? He says who he wants to give it to. He picked number 40. Or do you want to keep it? So we'll see what he says. Come on, Darren, a little bit quicker. All right, he's giving it. And so then I would add 5 points to that person, okay? So again, this is just kind of a fun strategy that you can use in your classroom. It's quick. You can use it whenever. You could even not even use it with questions. You could use it for classroom management if you wanted to just say, okay, Abid, you have been a great student today. We are going to go ahead and have you pick a number, and then you can kind of decide. You can also do table points. So instead of like Abid versus Darren or whatever, I could say, okay, team 1, team 2, team 3, and they can play as teams. So lots of flexibility there. Okay, so again, right there, you're sharing a strategy that works in your classroom. So mine was the unfair game. And so when you're brainstorming, it can be about relationships. Do you do something really cool in your classroom where it's check-ins, diversity, SEL, cooperative learning, classroom management? Maybe it's those instructional strategies where you do blended learning, teacher clarity, where you're providing those like John Hattie questions to your students. Do you provide any choice or engagement? Authentic learning, where you're using student learning projects or PBL or design thinking. Or you could share something that you're reading right now. Maybe there's an amazing book. Right now I'm reading The 5 Love Languages. And so maybe that's a book that you want to share with others. Like you're like, this is a must-read book. Maybe there's a YouTube channel that is just like amazing, or a podcast. Okay, so get your brain thinking. What strategy are you going to share with the others on this call today? And so what we're going to do now is you're going to design. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And again, that might not be enough time, but at least it's going to get you started to find in your drive or create a Canva or create a Slides Go or Slides Mania or whatever you need to do. You're going to go ahead and design. So you're going to either share a template already in your drive. You can either describe it on a Google slide or Canva, however you want to. And then you could also create a one-pager about it. So you're going to go ahead and pick one of those choices or something completely different. And I'm going to set a 5-minute timer for you to begin to create. So your timer has started right now. And if you have questions, throw them in the chat and I will answer them as you are designing. All right, if you're just joining us, you are sharing something that works really well in your classroom, like an instructional strategy, or a game or classroom management idea. There's so many different ideas that you can just pull from your drive, probably, that you're able to use with your students. It can be something quick and easy, or it could be something a little bit more detailed. So it might be like a check-in that you use, like a Google form, or it could be something like a book that you're currently reading, or maybe it's like a presentation that you do on cybersecurity, which is so exciting. And then you're able to pull those different resources together and you're going to share in a moment. But right now we're just kind of creating or finding in our drive. And I know it's not a lot of time, so if you don't finish right now, you can finish after and you can submit it after, but I want to see what we kind of come up with for those of you that do have something maybe already created. And like someone just said in the chat, classroom screen, it could be a tech tip, something as easy as Shift Command T, where it reopens a tab. Some people don't know that tip, so you can share even like a tech tip like that. And just a quick time check, 2 minutes. And right now you're just opening up that resource on another tab, and you're getting ready to share it. One minute left. $15 left. All right, and time is up. And again, if you did not finish, no worries. You can submit later after you get your creation designed. I know we're just on some time crunches. So right here is the Google form. So I'm going to put that into the chat. What you're going to do is you're going to open up this Google form. You're going to type your email in here. Hopefully it auto-populates for you. You're going to type your name. And if you want, you can put last name too. And then you're going to put your strategy name. So my strategy that I shared with you guys was called the unfair game. So I'm going to write unfair game. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my slide deck. So that way, if you want to play this game later, you have access to my resources. Also, I'm going to pick what kind of category this was. It was an instructional strategy. So there's my resource link to my Google slide. And then you can add a description. This can be a quick description, or you can, if you have a video, you can go in and just add that video link. So I actually have a video for this that I've created that you can watch again if you need the directions. So again, if you're not finished with this part, no worries. You can submit when you are done. And then once you have all of your Google form done, you're going to hit submit. And then we're going to wait. Okay, so again, go ahead and share your resource if you had some time to do so. And we have some responses coming in. Looks like some of us need some extended time, which is no big deal. And this Google Sheet is going to be available to you in the slide deck. So that way you're able to see everybody's resource that has kind of shared. And so typically what I would do is then we would share our resources. So we would have about, we're like less than 7 minutes. But then I would go in and I would just pick this link. And my staff just shared all these cool different strategies that they used in their classroom. And we were able to learn from each other. So again, this one is called sound effect prediction. The students listen to a clip and then they just make a prediction about what we're about to learn. This clip was related to a reading. So they were about to read a book, Touching Spirit Bear. And so what they did is they watched and listened to the sound effect. And then they had to make a prediction about what they think the book is going to be about based on that sound that they heard. So again, getting students curious, getting them excited to learn was a fun strategy. Next up, we've got this Canva. All right, do you want to come off mute and share? Is it Pedro?
Yeah, it's me. It's like a math competition. The World Cup is coming. I think it's the inaugural game tomorrow. So yeah, instead of having countries from around the world, have students in the classroom, have like a little math competition there. So yeah, that's my idea. Thank you.
I love your idea. That's so much fun. And then again, I would go down to the next person. Let's see here. So Darren, you're up. Come off mute.
Oh, thanks, Steph. So basically, over in England, we have this program called Countdown, which is a TV program with letters and numbers. And I know they have it in other countries as well. But this is basically like an idea for strategic planning. So you fill all of the blue boxes with ideas, with the biggest ideas being at the top and the smaller elements being in the second and third row. And then you choose one from the top and two from anywhere else. And you take those three to be your overarching goal. And that's your short, simple, easily achievable, he says. That's it.
I love it. Yeah. And again, these shares are quick. Staff are getting a quick idea. And then if I needed to know more about this, or I really love Darren's idea, I can then have a conversation one-on-one with him and ask him additional questions or see what else he kind of did or any roadblocks that he might have had. But again, these are just fun ways. And again, you're going to be able to go through all of these resources at the very end and get a quick snap view. And then if you need help, guess what? The person's email is right here. And you can send them an email and ask them additional questions if you need that. But again, just a great way for you to see different instructional strategies that people are using in their classroom and to get that collaboration going. Okay, so right here on slide number, so what we did is we didn't do it here because we're virtual and I don't trust breakout rooms right now, but we would pop around the room, grab ideas and take notes and repeat. So I would keep going with different people. Thank you to those that did share. I really appreciated it. You'd grab ideas, take notes. So here's the notes that my staff took. They put who and what, and then they wrote quick notes about what they shared. And then they had this resource. So for all of those links, it's on slide 16. I'll also throw it into the chat for you. And then they were able to gather those resources and use some new strategies in their classroom when it came to different things, or professional learning as they were learning about different things as well. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I would love to connect, but again, thank you so much for joining me. And Darren, I will now take your negative feedback now that the session is over. So thank you, guys.
Stephanie, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.